Okay, the timer is set. I have 20 minutes or less to solve this problem. This problem is called Rotation Part 2. It's part of the Medium 1 exercises from Launch School. So let me write the title in here. Rotation Part 2. Okay, it says write a method that can rotate the last n digits of a number. For example, note that rotating just one digit results in the original number being returned. These are the examples down here where it says, for example, these are the ones here, the test cases. You may use the rotate array method from the previous exercise if you want. It's recommended. You may assume that n is always a positive integer. Okay, so I'm supposed to use the method that I used in the previous exercise, so I just copied and pasted it here. And we need to look at each test case. So it says, write a method that can rotate the last n digits of a number. Okay, so for this first example, it just returns the same number because the last number is supposed to be rotated, which doesn't really change anything in the number. For the second example, we are rotating the last two digits. So that means we need to rotate the 9 and the 1, which will become 1 and 9. The last three digits, 2, 9, 1, if we pass it into this array, should rotate the third. Yeah, okay, so this digit here, 2, will rotate and be put in the back. So it will be 9, 1, 2. This example, those are the last four digits, so it will be 2915, 2915, okay? And it just keeps on going until we're at the last number here. So when we reach 6, the 7 gets rotated out and put at the end. Okay. So we need to start with our inputs and outputs. Our input is an integer and n represents the digits that we need to rotate. Digits that need to rotate. And our output is the integer with n digits rotated. Okay. Question is, what should be done with the input? Since I know I'm using this method here, this method returns an array that's rotated. So what I need to do is pass in the section of this number that needs to be rotated. And once I pass in that section, this method will just rotate that section. And then I just need to replace the original section that's not rotated with the rotated section. Okay, so rotate rightmost digits. What do I need to do? First, because this is dealing with an array, this is an integer. So the first thing I need to do is put that into an array. So I think I could just, for now, I'll just say convert integer into an array of integers, order preserved. I'm already thinking of a method that will do it, but it will reverse the numbers. And then I need to figure out the portion that gets rotated. So once I have the array, the integers into an array, I need to pass in the portion. So 1 won't change much, but let's say we're doing 2. And we're starting from the end of the array, so we're going to count negatives. So 2 becomes -2. Since the last digit is negative, or position is -1, the second to last is -2. So it will look something like this, where n represents the position. The negative makes it so that it starts counting from the end of the array. What am I trying to do? Okay. Okay. So I need a range from this position to the last position. And I know I could do something like that. Okay. So how do I write that? Convert integer into array of integers. And then I need to create the range to start the section. Create range to start section that needs to be rotated. All right, that needs to be saved. Or actually, that is what's going to get passed into rotate array here. Okay, pass in section to rotate array. And this needs to be assigned to a variable. Actually, let's see. It's a good thing that we have to spend time working through the problem before we actually get to the code. So I'll create that section. Okay. Let's see. Pass into section, rotate array. Yeah, I think that's all that needs to happen because a section will be rotated and then that section of the array that we converted to integers can just be replaced. So I'll say this. Replace section of, I'll call it integer array for right now, with rotated section. Okay. And then, since it's going to be an array of integers, I can just convert array of integers to integer. Okay. Algorithm. I think that makes sense. So what I need to do with the integer, I'll save it to all integers. Okay, so I'll call it all integers. Initialize all integers to, and this is where we convert the integer to an array. What am I going to call it? Call it number. And then we're going to call digits and reverse. So that we have an array of integers in the correct order. Then we're going to initialize, what am I going to call it? Rotate array. I think we should just keep it all integers like this. And then this is where the section comes in that needs to be replaced. So since we're doing a negative, we do negative n to represent the position to start the section, and then -1 to represent the last digit. So this gets passed in. Pass in as argument. Oops. I still spelled it wrong. Argument. Okay. And to that, we're going to assign this. So integer rotate. Okay. Assign rotate array. Pass in that section that needs to be rotated to it. To all integers. This should just replace that section only. And then once we have the array with the correct integers rotated, we can convert array using join. And to I, because it will be a string. I'm going to copy this down here. Okay. Def rotate rightmost digits. Call it number. Call it n. First thing I need to do is initialize all integers to number digits reverse. And it's a good thing to check as you go to make sure that your code is working every step of the way. 735291, 735291. All right. So all integers is in its correct format. Okay. So now it's an array of integers. Initialize all integers. So here we go. This should replace this section with this rotated section. And I can't spell today. Rotate array. Pass in that section. Of all integers. There we go. Now, to make sure that I did everything correctly, parameter, all caps. Okay, let me check to see if that's correct. Rotate array. Okay, so I'm getting an error, syntax error, unexpected, equal sign, expecting end. Okay, on line 33. Oh, oops. Okay, so I spelled that wrong. I'm not too sure if that's the issue. Okay, it's not. Oh, I see why, because I put these in parentheses. And that doesn't need to happen. Since it's an array, I should just be referencing. I'm not sure why I did that. Silly mistake. Okay. 735291, yes, that should return the original number. 735219, let me check. One more. This should be 735912. And that looks about right. So now I can call join into I to convert it into its proper output. And that looks right. So I'm going to uncomment these just to see the satisfaction of getting all trues. It's going to run. There we go. So yay, it worked. So I think I followed the algorithm pretty much exactly how I wrote it. It only took me about 13 minutes, which is good. It gives me enough time to correct any mistakes that I make, which I probably will. Okay, rotate array. Yeah, I think it looks all right. So this just replaces, this might look a little funny at first, and it did the first time I saw this problem. I couldn't really understand it, but this just rotates this section here, and this assigns it to this section, meaning it will just replace it. And any numbers that are not included in the rotate section will just stay the same. All right, that's it.